Hey guys, how's it going? Good morning. Let me go set up this room real quick and then we can get started. So today is October 28th, Thursday, 6:18 right now. Market's opening in about 12 minutes. So let me just get everything all set up and then we can get started with this session today. So things all good right here. Set up right here as well. All right, let's get over here. Let me get the link sent out over for the premium members. It's good for the most part. All right, guys. So I'm gonna let people into the room right now. As soon as people make their way in, we can get started with the analysis here. All right, cool. So people are making their way in. Once we have everyone in here, we can get started with our analysis of US 30. It's 6:20 right now, so market is opening in about 20 minutes, or sorry, 10 minutes. Once we have that, we can start looking for trades. I know we haven't been taking the breakout lately. Reason for that is because market's just been super erratic on open. There hasn't really been a direction. There's a lot of fake outs that happen on open. So that's the reason why we haven't really been taking the breakouts. We're just being careful because of the current market conditions. I mean, obviously you guys can see that it's not been moving very smoothly the past couple of days. Just by going back to the previous days, if you just go back and if you guys want to see if the market is moving smoothly or not, just go back the previous day. Or you don't even need to go back the previous day. You can just look at the previous session. But if you want to see how market has been moving during New York session, where it's supposed to be moving the smoothest, you can just go to 6:30 right here, and then just mark it up from like 6:30 to 8. And obviously you can see right here that there hasn't been a smooth move, right? It's kind of a fake out. It fakes out to the bottom, then it pushes back up, fakes out to the top, and then it just comes right back down before it goes into consolidation. So this is not really the type of market that you guys want to be trading in, because you want to be trading where market is going directional, and it's easily predictable as to where you want to be trading, right? For example, here you would have gone fake out 1, 2, 3 times, maybe 4 times if you were trading yesterday. Obviously, we didn't take that many trades yesterday. We took 1 or 2. And they played out perfectly. My analysis still played out perfectly, even though the market was moving kind of funky like this. But you generally don't want to be taking too many trades when the market's moving this way, because the last thing you want to do is enter a trade and then end up on the wrong side of the market, right? Because it happens. It happens, and it happens very often. So looking today, we'll be looking at the same thing. What I'll do here is I'll go ahead and just draw a horizontal line over here off this clean chart so that we can just follow through with it when the market does open. You guys can see whether it's been moving, smoothly or not smoothly. Anyways, going over to the 1-minute chart over here, it's pretty much just going sideways. I think a couple people sent some profits in. There was a couple people here that locked in some profits overnight. So let's see, Lisa over here locked in 512 overnight, and Valley over here as well. So Valley locked in 2,443, and then on. Also, probably too big. I locked in about 600. I didn't post them up, but I'll post them right now. Eunice as well locked in a total of 119 right here. So definitely great work to whoever was trading this morning. I'll do that right now, actually. So I'll just post up my pre-market profits. I thought I posted them yesterday, but I think I kind of just went offline for the most part after the live session. I was so drained after we had a mentoring session yesterday, and I was on that session for almost 3 hours, so I was like super burnt out. That's why I didn't really post on my profits, even though I took a couple trades. So I'll post them up right now just so that you guys can be aware of, like, you know, what I took pre-market going into the morning. So here we go. Let me just pull it up for you guys right here. These are my, let's put some pre-market K² profits before New York Stock Exchange open. So there is pretty much the profits that I made pre-market right here. So you can see I made 150 off this trade. Reason for that's because market was getting close to a time where I didn't want to trade, so I just moved my stop loss in profit, and then I just got kicked out of that trade right there. For this one right here as well, or this was like a full move. This is like during Asia session. This is a full move for 500 or 50 pips, because I only go for half TPs during Asia session since it's a smaller session, and it volatility there is a lot slower. So that's why during Asia session, some of my trades will be a lot smaller than normal, because normally they're like 1,000 profit, but most of the time it's gonna be like 500, 600, because I'm going for a way smaller target. All right, anyways, market is opening in 6 minutes. It's 5:24 right now. Looking over at the fundamentals, currently right now, the futures data is 44 points in the green. Looking over here at retail sentiment, it's currently 66% short. So it's not really one-sided anymore. This entire week and last week was like 80% short. So it was easy to just take buys and use liquidity zones. The bias right now for retail sentiment isn't very one-sided anymore. So it's just going back to neutral as it gets closer to the 50% mark. We generally want it to be heavily on one side, at least 70 to 75, 80%, you know, in best case scenario, because then it'll be easy for us to catch trades in that direction. However, with this instance, I mean, it's completely fine. We also have news today. So looking over here at FOREX Factory, we'll just refresh this. Today's Thursday. We have pending home sales at 7. And then at 7:30, we have natural gas storage. Also at 5:30, we had advanced GDP price index and then unemployment claims plus advanced GDP. So we had a couple news announcements that happened about an hour ago. And then we have a couple more news events coming at 7. So in about 30 minutes, we have news coming up at 6:26 right now. So market is opening in about 4 minutes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the technicals real quick before we get started. So looking over here at the 1 minute, it's pretty much indecisive. Reason for that is because it's just going sideways and it's not really above or below the pivots. So here on the 1 minute, there's no bias. Looking at the 3 minute, same situation. Price is just right down the middle. It's not really above or below the pivots, and the trend meter is blue. So looking at all these things right here, this is indecisive as well. Lastly, here at the 10 minute, same situation, it's indecisive. Reason for that is because price is right in the middle of the pivots and it's not really moving anywhere. So we don't really have a bias right now. This isn't a good thing at all, because obviously you guys want to know what the bias is when you guys trade. So looking at how price is currently moving at this moment, we'll see what happens when the market opens, see where the fundamentals are pushing price. And then from there, we'll decide where we want to trade. However, if there's no clear direction, then, you know, obviously we're just going to wait, because as you guys can see right here, I have this marked up on the clean chart just to see where price is moving. We're going to see if price pushes up or if it pushes down. There really isn't too much here to decipher until the market actually opens, which is going to open in about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So when that happens, we can determine which direction to trade. However, right now there just isn't very much direction to be trading in. Yeah, other than that, I mean, there's not really much here. Currently, we're just gonna be waiting. Once we have the confirmation, then we can start looking for, you know, specific trades. So we'll be waiting for that, and then after that's done, we can start looking for other scalps. Let's see, morning Dean, morning Lisa, morning Dalmas, morning Duggan, morning Matt, morning Mauricio, morning Miles, morning Matt, morning Fahad, morning Kenny, morning Peter, morning Lisa, morning Adrian, morning Randy, morning Fumi, morning everybody. So Randy, you can set the alerts to whichever setting you want. If you want it once per bar, then you set it once per bar. If you want it once per close, you set it once per close. They're both different settings. So if you want it where you get alerted but it's not closed yet, then you'll do once per bar. If you want it to alert you only when it's closed, then you'll set it to once per bar close. So it's up to preference. I mean, whichever one you like or whichever one you're looking for. I have mine set to once per bar close because I don't really want to see it. Or actually, let me see. I think I have it set to. I've actually once per bar because I'm scalping. So I used to have it once per bar close because I was applying the other strategies where you need it to actually close. But the problem with that is that it moves too fast. If you catch it after it closes, it might be too late and it'll move already. So I have it set to once per bar, but it's really up to preference. There's no specific way that you need it. It's just, if you're staring at the chart the entire day, then once per bar is probably okay for you because you want to be alerted before it actually closes. However, if you're like doing the longer term trades, then obviously you want it once per bar close because you want to know only when it closes. So it's up to you which one you want to do. I have mine set to once per bar. Duggan's asking, hey, Shawn, after it gets quiet, can you go over the Asian? Possibly, Duggan. I don't think we're going to get quiet today, though, because we're usually trading throughout the whole session. So I'll try, but oh, no, actually, I'm not going to go over that because that's the new strategy, Duggan. So I'm not going over that today. I'll be going over that next week when it's actually released to you guys. Morning, Orion, morning, Essa, morning, Dalmas, morning, Abraham, morning, everybody. So market is opening shortly in about 18 seconds. Once the market opens, we can determine, which direction we'll be trading in. But yeah, guys, I'm not going to be going over the new strategy with you guys yet because it's not out yet. You guys won't even be able to apply it unless you guys have access to the indicator and the strategy, which is not available right now. So your market is now officially open. You can see price is making its way to the upside over here. So big push to the upside. Let's look at the fundamentals over here and refresh this. Fundamentals are currently 93 points in the green. Looking over here at the stock index. Stock index is currently very bullish. Obviously, Visa's up 3 points, Merrick's up 1.9, Goldman Sachs up 1.6, JP Morgan's up 1.3, Apple's up 1 point as well. So refreshing this right here, it's up 100 points. So it looks very bullish. This right here, we wouldn't take this as a breakout. Reason for that because the wick on the top side is too big. And we don't have a buy signal. We actually need a buy signal in order for us to take this trade here for the breakout. So this candle right here is going to close. No entry off this. If this closes with a strong green candle with the buy signal there, then this would technically be the breakout. However, it's getting close to the London low. So even if it closes strong, it's going to be a bit risky because it's getting close to this London low. Usually when it gets to one of these points, one of two things will happen. Price will either reject off it or it'll bounce right off. It'll break through it and continue pushing up. So it'll either push up higher or it'll just reject off here and bounce right back down. And also this candle is just way too big. So it's not one that I would take right away because it's probably going to be pulling back a bit before it actually pulls in its direction. So yeah, looking at this right here, you can see obviously we have about 10 seconds left on this candle. Price is rejecting off this pivot right here. I mean, not the pivot, the low. And it's also no signal here. So there needs to be a buy signal there in order for it to be a valid breakout entry. So you can see right here, price is still attempting to break above this line right here, right? It hasn't broken above it yet. It came up, rejected right off it, and came right back down. Again, right here, this candle, it's rejecting off it as well. So as you guys can see, this is a key price point to be focused on because once it breaks above, it might continue pushing. However, if it doesn't, then it's probably going to come right back down. So we'll see how this candle right here closes. Once it closes, we'll determine, what direction price is going to be continuing in. Morning, Christopher. Morning, everybody. All right, I'm going to close the chat window and I'm going to focus on the trades right now. And we'll see what happens next. So we have this candle right here. It's closing in about 15 seconds. If it closes with a buy signal, which it hasn't closed with it yet, this will be a valid breakout entry. However, it's extended so high that I'm probably going to wait for it to pull back a little bit. Yeah, this candle is like too big. So right here, I'm waiting for it to pull back. Maybe I'll enter this for a late entry, but I'm not going to enter it just yet because this candle here is just way too big. It's probably gonna have to pull back halfway. I'm sure you guys have noticed that. It pulls back like halfway, and then it swings all the way back up. So let me just go back to the fundamentals real quick, refresh this. Currently you have 134 points, 150 points actually, refreshing this right here. Retail sentiment is currently not showing right now. So I'll be watching this. I'm not in the position yet. I'm thinking of maybe entering it with a smaller lot size, but I don't know yet. I'm gonna wait and see. Let's see. No, it's kind of super extended. So this is the breakout here. If anyone wants to take it, I'm not going to take the trade. I mean, if you guys want to take it, feel free. I just feel like this push here has just been too high. It's going to have to pull back a bit. So the last thing I want to do is enter the trade and then end up getting caught in some drawdown and it pulls right back down. So I'll follow it, but I'm not going to be in the trade. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to enter scalps along the way. So I'm going to wait for it to pull back possibly. And if it pulls back, then I'll enter it as it shoots right back up for smaller scalps. But I'm not going to take it for the full 500 pip move because it's just way too overextended, right? If you look at current price right now, it started from down here. It's currently up over 1,000 pips. So a straight push to the upside for 1,000 pips is it's due for some sort of pullback. And you can see right there, it's starting to pull back, right? It's exactly why I didn't take the trade and why I'm being hesitant on taking it. What I'm going to wait for is for it to pull back slightly. And then if it swings back up, then I'll take the trade. But currently right now, I don't want to take it because it's just too far up. Generally, you know, what goes up must come down, at least to some extent. Like you can see right here, price comes up, comes down a little bit, and then goes back up further. That's probably going to be the same situation here. And we'll follow it, but you know, like I mentioned, I'm not in the position. I just don't want to get caught in any fake outs. These breakouts haven't been very consistent lately. The volatility has just been too high, and they've just been, you know, whipsawing back and forth. So last thing I want to do is enter this and not be sure about it, and then it ends up coming right back down. And it's 6:35 right now, so it's pretty late into the session with regard to the breakout. Usually we want to be in and out of this position before this time or around, you know, slightly around this time period. So if you're in the position, you know, great. I suggest you move your stop loss in profit. I'm not in the position. I'm waiting for it to pull back a little bit. Currently right now, I'll be looking for other entries as we get started. So there's a pivot scalp strategy. Here's a high-low strategy. Here's the 3-minute strategy. Three-minute pivot scalp. Here's the 10-minute looking for snipes. And here is the daily entry. So the daily entry yesterday hit. I'm not sure if anyone caught it, but it did hit. We didn't really go over it during the live session, but it did come up right here at about 720. So that was a trade from yesterday, hit full TP. Obviously, we're not going to count it because we didn't take a trade, or I personally didn't take it. And we'll be looking for the one today. So today's supposed to be a buy signal. If we get a buy signal, I think it'll be pretty solid. But other than that, there's nothing here off the daily. There's nothing here off the, I mean, technically, there's nothing here off the snipe either because we don't have a buy signal yet. I'll just draw some zones here so that we'll be able to look out for any possible snipes. Just probably draw one big zone here. All right, so there goes the 10-minute zone right there. Going over to the 3-minute, there's no entry available right now. Going over to the 1 minute, this is exactly what I was anticipating, right? So I was anticipating the drop back down and then possible spike back to the upside. But I'm not going to enter the trade. I'll be waiting for one of these scalps to actually appear. So just looking at current price right now, you can see price came back down, retested the London low, and then bounced right off it. And this is exactly why I wouldn't have entered this trade, because I knew something like this was going to happen. This is way too overextended. I mean, obviously, if you can see right here, from this low right here, price is pushed up, you know, well over 1,000 pips, about 1,150 pips. So big push to the upside. If you measure it from down here, it's even more. It's pushed up about 1,350 pips. So I don't like getting caught in these trades right here where prices kind of just whipsawing back and forth. Also, this range right here is really wide. It's about 550 pips. So if your stop loss is at 500 pips and you entered late, like say you entered on the top right here, you'd be in some heavy drawdown. So that's why I never recommend entering trades late. And also, I never recommend entering trades that you're not comfortable with. I don't feel comfortable with this position here because it's too overextended. And that's why we're just waiting for this to stabilize and give us some scalps. So I'll have this marked up right here. However, I'm going to go mark up some other lines here with regard to the highs and lows so that when price does break and close past them, I can take a trade in that direction. So what I'm looking for here now is I'm looking for one of two things. I'm either looking for price to come down with the pullback signal and then swing back to the upside so that I can apply the 1 minute pivot scalp, or I'm waiting for price to break and close above this line right here so that I can take an entry using the high-low scalp. So two different entries that I'm looking for right there. If I get any of them, then obviously I'll take them, but currently right now, we just don't have it available. So, you know, like I mentioned yesterday and how I mentioned every other day, it's just a game of patience. You guys have to be patient waiting for these entries to come up. Once they come up, then you can hop into them, but I don't recommend just entering a trade just because. Let's just move from here. Yeah, it's just too big of a move. Also, we have news coming up in about 20 minutes. So if I don't have a trade within 10 minutes from now, then I'm probably just going to sit out the market and wait. We need this candle right here to close above it. If it closes above it, I can take it for a scalp using the high-low scalp strategy. But if it doesn't, then this is going to be the new high. So we got about 20 seconds left on this candle. And this is why you guys got to wait for it to close above, right? Because if you didn't wait for it to close above, look how much drawdown you'd be in right now. So it's really important that you guys are patient with these trades. And a lot of people are impatient, and a lot of people revenge trade. So guys, like this is one of the main things that I see commonly among people, like in not just in K2, but in general. If you guys have a strategy that works and you've been profiting from it, obviously you guys know how to make profit, right? The main problem with people is that they don't know how to keep that profit. They'll make profit with whatever strategy they're applying, and it applies to this session as well. During the live session, a lot of you guys will make profit with me during the live session, and then when I go offline, you guys continue to trade and you end up blowing all the profits and end up going to the negative. So if that's your problem, which is I'm sure it's a lot of people's problem, your main goal is to figure out how not to lose, right? Your problem is like you know how to win because you've made profit before and you've seen it before. You've done it yourself. The main problem a lot of people have is keeping that profit, because what happens is you'll make profit with me, and then when you trade on your own, or if you trade during Asia session, any session other than New York, and you blow all your profits, that's probably what the issue is, right? Because a couple members messaged me the other day and they said, hey Shawn, you know, I'm just not going to trade Asia session because I reviewed my trades. The only time I lose during Asia session. So in some instances, that's kind of what you guys have to realize, right? I know you guys want to trade all day because you see me profiting all day, but it's not for everyone, right? Not everyone can kill it during Asia session. Not everyone can kill it during London session. And if you're not good at it yet, you know, just keep practicing. You'll get good at it eventually, but don't expect to be like the best trader after only trading for like a few weeks or a few months or so. But yeah, I just want to make sure that you guys know that, because I see a lot of people who have the same problem here. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that, because you guys aren't alone. I don't want you guys to think that you're the only person that's running through that issue. There's a lot of people that have that same exact issue. So, you know, don't be discouraged if that's happening to you, because there's like a handful of other people that's happening to as well. The only problem is that some people just don't want to come. They don't want to believe it, right? They think that they're just getting unlucky, but in reality, it's just not their session to be trading. So guys, looking over here at The 1 minute, there's obviously no entry. We're still waiting for price to break and close above this line. Hasn't done that yet. Price is just ranging back and forth. And this is why I'm glad that I didn't enter the breakout, because it's just going back and forth at this moment, right? And this is the worst feeling. The worst feeling is when you're in a position and it just keeps going back and forth within your entry point, because you're not sure whether price is going to break above or if it's going to break below. And you're kind of just flipping a coin at this point. You know, you're kind of not sure where price is going to go. However, I do think it's going to be bullish. And the reason for that is because the fundamentals are currently 170 points, 160 points in the green, indicating that it's a strong bullish bias here with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Looking at the futures data, it's currently up 135 points. So everything here is pretty much bullish. Looking at retail sentiment, there's no retail, or there is now, it's 67% short. So this is good. Everything's pointing towards the upside. Price is just kind of dancing around this area. Meanwhile, right? It's kind of just bouncing around here and not really choosing a direction. But eventually I do anticipate it to possibly be swinging to the upside. And, you know, that's a strong possibly, because the bias isn't always going to stay this way. Or what could happen is there could be a lot of manipulation, right? A lot of people don't, well, no, a lot of people believe in manipulation. There's a couple people in the world that don't believe in manipulation. And if everything here is green, like you can see, right, I'm just going to show you clearly, everything here is green, right? The entire stock index is green. If price drops, there's a reason why price drops, right? Price doesn't just drop randomly. Something is being manipulated. So I don't know, you know, if you use your logic and understanding and thinking as to like why price would be going up or down when everything is pointing towards the upside, you know, if you use your common sense or you use logic, there's no reason for it, right? And the reason for that is because it's being manipulated. But I mean, some people still don't believe in manipulation. It blows my mind how people don't believe in it. But and you can see right here, price is pushing to the upside. This is exactly what we were anticipating because the fundamentals are pushing up. So looking at this right here, if this candle here closes, well, I mean, it didn't close, but you can see how price is pushing up to where it's supposed to go, right? Because everything is pointing towards the upside. So if price is moving how it's supposed to, it has to go up because the entire index is just green. The only time price would go the opposite way is if there's a news event and there's a huge order in the opposite direction, you know, with regard to that news announcement, or, I mean, there's different factors, but for the most part, if you're looking at typical price movement, if the stock market is up with regard to Dow 30, because these are all the stocks in the Dow 30, the actual asset should be going up, right? So just looking at current price right now, you can see the huge spikes to the other side. What I'm going to keep looking at is going to be retail sentiment. I think this is going to be key today because we already have a bullish bias. We just need to make sure that a lot of retail traders are short because we want to be trading the opposite of them. That's how we're going to have our edge in the market. And that's how the market makers have their edge in the market, right? They know where the retail traders are trading, and they almost always trade opposite of them. So as price broke this structure right here, we have a new high that's been established, but there is no clear move right now. It's still kind of just moving back and forth. So, I mean, we're just patiently waiting for an entry to come up right here. In order for us to take a buy here, we need this buy signal to close. There's been about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 or 5 candles here who attempted to close with this buy signal, but it's failed. It'll slightly get into that buy signal there, and then it'll just disappear, right? So let's see if this here closes. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'll put like a buy stop. So this is a trade within a trade. So I'll put a buy stop right here, and I'll probably just catch it as it swings up. To 4 to see if this thing so I got my buy stop set up there, and then we'll see where it goes from here. So this is going to be an entry using the 1 minute pivot scalp over here. I'm going to see how this moves over here. Let me see this real quick. All right, So I have my buy stop set up. I'm not in the position yet. I'm gonna move it over like one so that you guys are aware. I'm not in the position yet. I'm setting up the buy stop here to catch it as it swings above. All right, so it's just a waiting game at this point. I have the buy stop set up right there. So if it does trigger, it'll just fill it and it'll just go straight up. I'm currently on the position right now. So I'm kind of just waiting for it to push to the upside. So we'll be waiting for it to see, where it goes. But yeah, this market is kind of just choppy. I mean, it's not really directional. If I go here to the clean chart, you can see it's kind of moving to the upside where it's supposed to because we have a bullish bias. However, it's not really stable yet, right? It's kind of just bouncing back and forth. So yeah, it's just going to be a waiting game. Also, it's 6:49 right now, so the market is, not the market, the news is coming in about 10 minutes or so. The news event coming up at 7 is going to be the pending home sales. So if you guys have noticed, I haven't been entering trades right away. What I've been doing is I've just been waiting for it to pull back because this is usually what happens. Whenever there's an entry, price will pull back a bit, and then I'll just set a buy stop right there so that when price comes up to this point, it'll fill my order. And then as it pushes up higher, it just automatically closes me out in TP because I have my TP already automatically set up and ready to go. And that's been working. It's just, it's just me being a little more patient than I normally am. Usually I'll just enter right away, but just because of the way that the market's been moving lately, I haven't been doing that because I understand that the market is being, highly volatile lately. And I mean, there just isn't really much for us to look at here. Obviously, price is kind of just bouncing around. Let's go to the 3-minute. Let's see, 3-minute over here, nothing here. Going over to the snipe. There's no snipe entry here, or technically the daily entry has come up. So let me go over here real quick. The daily, or actually no, that would have been the daily entry because it's on 6:30. You'd have to wait for the next candle there. But I don't think I'll be looking for any sells because the bias here is still pretty bullish. So no entry off the daily yet. Reason for that's because the buy signal came on the opening candle. You have to wait for the one after it. Going over here to the 10-minute snipe, there's no snipe that's available. Going over to the 1-minute, there you go, full TP off the 1-minute. So that trade right there that I took, I made a pretty nice profit off that. See, I made 1,190. So as you guys can see, I'm not stressed out at all, right? This is the way I like to trade. I like to trade where I don't have to worry about my trades. I just set the buy stop there, it fills it, and then full TP. Let me send you guys a screenshot of my profits to show you guys that, I took the trade and whatnot, because we always have, trolls questioning whether I'm taking the trades or not. Obviously, I'm taking the trades. So here we go. I'll take a screenshot of that. I'll give you an update in the group. If you guys have profits to send over, go ahead and send them over. And then they'll be sent over to you guys later at the end of the session. So let's see, Unit sent his profits in. I'll send you guys this one right here as well. This is the pivot scalp strategy. Let me take a screenshot of my profits for the day. And my profits are pretty heavy for the week so far. I think I'm almost up to like 20K. I know I'm like at like 15 right now per account. So that's like 30 each. Oh, not each, 30 total. Here, let me just take a screenshot of my, and I'm still looking for trades, guys. I haven't stopped looking for trades. I'm just, okay. So I'll take that off. This breakout is still running right now. So whoever is still in the breakout, it's still running pretty nicely. Let me take a screenshot of my profits right here. All right, so my profits this morning are looking real nice. Okay, so looking at this right here, this is my account. So I have 3 wins today, no losses. Pretty much up 1,593 off my copier, and then off my main account right here, I'm up 1,793. You can see all the green lines here because they all hit TP. This is the trade that we just took. Time right now is 6:52. This trade was taken at 6:47. So about 3 minutes ago, I took the trade, hit TP. I made 1,190 off this one, and then 990. So a little over 2,000 across both accounts off that one trade right there. Not that trade, but the one that I took earlier. So nice profits. Nice profit off that K2 US 30 1 minute pivot scalp. So yeah, guys, it's just, it's a game of patience, game of just waiting for those perfect entries, especially if you're scalping. A lot of people don't like to wait. If you guys don't like to be patient or wait, then, scalping is probably not for you. If you want to just hop into trades right away, it's just going to be, odds are you're going to get lucky every so often, but you're only going to get lucky so often, like so many times, right? A lot of people say that I get lucky with these trades. Well, I do this every day, so I guess I'm just lucky every day, right? So it's just funny whenever I get people saying that I'm just getting lucky every day, or I just sound like I know what I'm doing. I mean, I do this every single day, and it's the same exact process, and they always hit. So I'm pretty sure that I'm doing something properly here. But I mean, to one, it's like that saying goes, to one's one known, or whatever, how it's called. I'm gonna keep doing what I know works, right? If you guys don't like the way I trade, that's completely fine. I'm gonna keep profiting regardless, whether you like it or not. So whoever wants to use the strategies, you're welcome to use it. But if you don't, then just keep hating, and I'll just keep profiting. So that's that it is what it is. So anyways, going back over here, let's see what else we got over here as we are continuing on with this. So let me see what everyone else locked in. So for me, I locked in about 2,000 right here. Eunice sent his profits in. He locked in a total of 333 earlier this morning, and then he took another trade here, locked in a total of 480. So nice work, Eunice. And then his other trade right here, locked in a total of 147 off his other account. So as you can see, Eunice here took 3 trades as well this morning. He has no losses, all wins. So obviously Eunice here understands the assignment. Here with Patricia, she locked in a total of 1,940, all wins, no losses, 4 trades as well. Nice work, Patricia. And as you guys can see, if you guys are applying stuff properly, or listening to what we're doing, or paying attention, at the very least, you should have no problem with these trades here, because everyone here is killing it. If everyone's doing well, and there's only you're the only person that's not doing well, there you must be doing something wrong, right? So if you do have issues, or you're confused, or you're not hitting your TPs, ask for help. And we can help you. Either ask in the chat, or you can ask in the Telegram. We're all here to help you guys. It's just, if you guys don't ask for help, we can't help you. So Sisu here locked in a total of 3,000, 3 trades as well, all wins. Romani over here in profit, a total of 1,947, about 2,000, all wins right here, right? These people understand what we're doing here. If these people are doing this every single day, there should be no problem with you doing it as well. It's just, you guys have to understand what you're doing, and you guys have to be real to yourself if you don't understand something. Lisa over here is up currently 1,281. Nice work, Lisa. Junior here as well, right? Look at Junior, 1,310. 3 trades, just like all of us, all wins. He understands what we're doing here. Lisa again over here. Lisa's currently up about 7,789 on her account. Nice work, Lisa. She's almost done with her challenge. Other than that, Charlie over here as well. Looks like Charlie had 1 loss. He had to sell. So I don't know what he was taking there. He was taking some trade specific, but all the buys here are all wins, right? So pretty much most of us took buys. Charlie's probably just messing around, trying something different. But if he did take that sell there, they would have been all wins. He's a total in profit of 2,024. So he still is doing well. It's okay to experiment with trades, but you can see everyone here who's just taking buys, all wins. Patricia again, 1,940. Paul here, I don't know what happened with this trade, Paul. I don't know if this is the same trade we took, or you took another one after, but it looks like it might have been an accident, because it's like a small trade right there. But you have a total of profit of 1,588. What I think happened here is, I think you might have set your stop loss to, or you didn't even get stopped out there. I don't know what happened to that, but you might have set your TP a little wrong, or your stop loss wrong. One of the things might have been set wrong, because this is a really small loss. Looks like it might have been an accident. Okay, so he said accidental trade. Sorry, I just saw your message here, Paul. So yeah, Paul would have had all wins, but he had an accidental trade right there where he took a small loss, but everything else here were wins. These are the trades that we took off that 1 minute. Tommy here as well. Tommy locked in a total of 3,014. Nice work, Tommy. And then Romano over here, another win, total of 2,391 for the day. Nice work, Romano. Other than that, Angela's up 1,630. She's trading GJ. Nice work, Angela. And then her other account, 936, about 1,000 there. So in total, well over 2,000. Chris over here as well. Chris currently up 2,673. Pretty much all wins right there as well. Nice work, Chris. And Albert over here, all wins, no losses, and profit, a total of 13,359. He was trading some Bitcoin, so he made his big profits, and he also took the scalp right there with us for a nice win. Vincent as well. Vincent in profit, a total of 1,580. Looks like he had this looks like it might have been accidental loss. It's only 14 bucks. It doesn't look like this was a stop loss hit. It might have just been an accidental enter and exit, but everything else here are all wins. So nice work there, Vince. And the TP here just hit off the breakout. So whoever is holding the breakout right now, it's, it just hit TP right now. You didn't get the alert yet, but it did hit breakout right there. So I'll give the update for whoever took it. I didn't take the trade, but we've been following it since the beginning. So assuming some of you guys did catch it, I'll give you guys a little update in the group. So also Jose over here, there you go. There's the full TP. So full TP off the breakout, 500 pips. It went exactly to where we anticipated, but it wasn't a smooth ride to the upside, right? It was a slow push up, but it finally hit. So let me let's take another screenshot of that just so that you guys can know exactly what's going on with this trade for whoever caught it. It did go into drawdown a little bit, but it didn't hit stop loss. Way far from stop loss. So definitely did not hit it right there. Other than that, let's see. So I'll just give you guys a little update right here for that trade. So, all right, going back to the profits over here. So Andy over here locked in a total of 1,304, 2 wins right there, no losses. Nice work, Andy. And Jared over here locked in a total of 3,035. It looks like a lot of you guys took like an accidental, well, not a lot of you guys, maybe like 4 or 5 of you guys, because this is a really small loss. So I'm not sure if this is an accident as well. Jared, looks like it might have been. But in total, you're still in profit 3,035. So there's no big deal about that loss. I'm just curious, like, it was just an accidental trade that a lot of people took, because you have some big wins right here as well. So great work right there, Jared. Also, Duggan over here posted his profits, pretty much all wins. He had 1 loss there, which is fine. It happens. But for the most part, Duggan is up 11,000, 13,000. Damn, he's up like almost 15K right here off all of these trades, trading AU, US 30, and DAX 30. So nice work, Duggan. Maddie over here as well. Maddie's currently up about 4,000 for the day. Nice work, Maddie. RJ over here as well, currently up 6,426. Nice work, RJ. Andy over here, currently up 840 off that one trade. So we took that 1 minute pivot scalp earlier. So nice profit off that, Andy. And looking at Abraham over here too. So Abraham is, he's done for the day, but he hit some pretty nice profits. He's up 470 off this account. And then off his Bitcoin account over here, he's up, let's see, about 500 or yeah, close to it. So nice work right there, Abraham. Other than that, I think that's it for the profit so far. So we'll be looking for some more trades here. Pretty much all these trades are done with. And we're just waiting for more to come up. So let's check the other time frames right now. The news just came out, so that's what I was waiting for. Now that the news is passed, we can start trading again. So we do have another news event coming up at 7:30. However, the news right here just passed. So let's see, it's refreshing right now. Let me just refresh this real quick. The news for pending home sales was, it's negative. Wow. I thought it was gonna be positive because the new home sales was positive. I guess pending home sales, there's not as many homes being sold now. It's actually negative. So market is kind of slowing down, it seems like, which is good for me because I'm looking to buy a house. Kind of want the prices to go down a bit. But yeah, other than that, I think there's nothing else here. So nothing on the 1 minute, nothing on the 3 minute. We need a retracement here and a swing back to the upside for us to have a buy for the 3 minute, mark up the 630 mark in case we're looking for the daily. But There's no entry available here yet off the 3-minute. Looking at the 1-minute or the 10-minute, there's no entry available here either because we need price to come back down and reject off one of these pivots. Unless it does that, there's not going to be any entry for the snipe because that's going to be the first requirement here. We need a wick rejection off any K2 pivot. Looking over here at the daily, there's no entry here available either. Reason for that is because we need a valid signal for there to be some sort of entry. So going back to the 1-minute, we're pretty much just sticking on the 1-minute right now until there's an entry off any other time frames. But currently at the moment, there's no entry. So what I'll do next is here. Let's see. Yeah, looking at Professor over here. Professor just I think he passed phase 2. So Professor is up 1,036 right now off his MFF. So very nice. Looks like he has one where he closed. He made 1,000 off it, and he has one trade that's currently running for another 1,000. So he's basically up about 2K for the day right now with this trade running. Maddie said variation at 650. I don't see it on my end, Maddie. So there's no rejection off this one. There's no rejection off this one, and there's none off this one. You might have seen something different. You probably identified this one right here. This is what it looks like. You looked at this one right here as the high, but that's not really the high because it touched it right here. So as you can see, price touched it like 3 times. And then off this next candle right here, this was the actual high. So I know it's a little confusing because you don't have the indicator yet. Once you get it, it'll be a lot easier. But I can see where you probably thought this was the high right here, right? I wouldn't consider this a high because it didn't break above this one. It has to break past it in order for it to be a high. Because if we move this line down here, this one didn't even break past it. So this would still be considered the high. So, and what Maddie's looking at is it's a strategy. It's a variation to the high-low scalp strategy. That's the strategy that I've been using a lot. I've been testing with my afternoon scalps during Asia session. It's not a strategy that I plan on teaching you guys, but it's something that a lot of people have picked up because it's a really simple strategy, but it's a very risky strategy as well, unless you like really know what to look out for. So, all right, back here on the 1-minute, there's no entries that are available. Let me go over here real quick to see where the fundamentals are currently sitting. They're currently sitting at 162 points in the green. Looks like price is reacting to the news event because I just got the update right there. So looking over here at the fundamentals, here is the stock index for Dow 30. It's still very green. There's only a couple stocks here that are red, so I still see the bullish buys coming. Futures data is currently up 172 points, so that's looking good too. Also looking over here at retail sentiment, it's 69% short. This is perfect. We want this to happen. We want people to bandwagon on those sells so that when price swings back up, we can just have a smooth ride to the upside. So this is perfect. We're looking for buys here because retail traders are short. We want to do complete opposite of them. So I'll let this bounce below, and then I'll let it drop as much as it needs to. And then when it comes back up, it's going to be perfect for us because it's just going to be a straight shot to the upside. So other than that, I think that's it for right now. So it's 7:06 right now. At around 7:30, I'll start answering questions, guys. I have to be off the session by 8. So by 7:30, I'll go through the Zoom. If you guys do have questions, drop your questions in the Zoom and then I'll answer them. If you guys missed the live session yesterday, that was a really key live session to watch, or not live session, the mentoring session. If you guys missed it yesterday, go back and rewatch that because I went over an entire checklist of what I look for per trade. So before every trade, I have a huge checklist that it's not huge, but it's a pretty comprehensive checklist as to what I look for before I enter any trades. So if you guys missed it, go and watch that because that's going to be very helpful with identifying good from bad trades. So if you guys want to look at it, go ahead and take a look at it. Otherwise, I'll answer your questions here in the Zoom around 7:30. I'm going to keep looking for trades right now. If I don't see anything, then I'll start answering questions. But by 7:30, I'm going to start knocking out the questions because I got to be off this live session by 8. It's 7:07 right now, so we have like a little over less than an hour. So we should be good with that. Yeah, it's on the YouTube, guys. So if you guys want to go back and watch the previous live session, just go on the YouTube channel. So just pull up the YouTube, and then it's right here. It's the one in green, the K2 group mentoring session. That one went on for a really long time. It was like a 2.5 hour live session, I think, mentoring session, because we had a lot of good questions. So if you guys checked it out. A lot of your questions that you probably have were answered during that session as well. And if you weren't able to attend that, we're having another one next week anyway. So no big deal. I'm going to be releasing the indicator to you guys shortly. And then you guys can play with it over the weekend. And then by Monday, or not by Monday, but sometime next week, I'll be going over the actual strategy. Because this is the unfinished strategy, but this is pretty much, I mean, I've been using it. It's been working perfectly fine. I've been using it for almost I think a month now or 2 months, and I haven't had any losses. Like realistically, I have had 0 losses using this strategy. The only time I have losses, like if you guys have seen my profits here, the only times I've had losses like these right here are because I'm applying the variation. So it's probably something that's probably why I'm not going to be teaching you guys it, because all these wins here are from the high-low scalp strategy during Asia session. Because that's the main one that I use during Asia session. I do use it in conjunction with the 1 minute pivot scalp sometimes because they appear at the same time. But for the most part, they're pretty much based off this one. And I haven't really lost. I don't think I've lost once using the strategy, following all the requirements. So we'll hopefully I can get that over to you guys. All right. So 7:09 right now, still no entry. Going over to the 3 minute, no entry off this as well. So this right here technically would be the daily entry off the 3 minute. This is not a strategy that I created. This is one that our member created as well. He has been applying the strategy. I wouldn't be taking a sell here, even though we do have a sell entry. The reason for that is because the fundamentals are too strong to the upside. They're very strong. They're like everything's pointing towards the upside. Fundamentals are up 170 points. Retail sentiment is short, so everything's pointing for us to take a buy here. So I would not take this trade here, even though it's there. We're just testing this out because Desmond's been applying it. This technically would be the 3 minute daily right here that we're currently testing out. But just like I mentioned, I'm not going to take any sells here because everything's pointing towards the upside. So just FYI, if you guys are wondering whether that's one that I would necessarily take, and it wouldn't be for those specific reasons. We have a pending buy signal here for the 1 minute right here. Got about 30 seconds left on this candle right here. And a lot of people ask, like, why do I have a big stop loss? The reason for this is because I don't plan on losing this trade. This is just a safety net. Similar to what happened earlier over here, it's just a safety net to catch the drawdown before it swings back up. And if you don't want to catch the drawdown, you can just wait for it to pull back and then do what I did earlier, set the buy stop and then have it trigger as it comes back up. So if this candle here doesn't close with the buy signal, there's not going to be an entry available. So no entry there. Reason for that is because there's no buy signal. So let me just close this and then we'll wait for the next one. All right, so the market has kind of slowed down a bit. You guys can tell, obviously, volatility is like really low now. Each candle here is only moving about like 70 pips or 100 pips, 70 to 100 pips, which is not that much. You can see these other candles over here prior were moving like 200, 300, 500 pips per candle. So market volatility has died down substantially right now. I think we have another news event coming out at 7:30, so that's probably gonna stimulate the market a little bit. Yeah, we have natural gas storage at 7:30, so we'll be waiting for that. All right. Other than that, I think that's it for right now. Let me just see if there's anything else here that that we're missing. I don't think we're missing anything. All right, so no entry available here yet. You can see prices breaking below. This would technically be a sell entry using the high-low scalp strategy, but I'm not going to take it. And the reason I'm not going to take it is because it's getting close to this London low right here. What might happen at this point is price can likely reject off here. Also, what might happen here is price might not close below this line. and then reject off this point right here. There's two different points of rejection. And that's the reason why I wouldn't take it. A third reason why I wouldn't take it is because the bias is bullish. I never trade against the bias, especially the fundamentals. So right here, this technically would have been a high-low scalp strategy, and it looks like it would have hit TP already anyways. So depending on the person, I have a checklist that I use. Not everyone needs to use it. It's not required. But like I was mentioning, it doesn't look like a safe trade to me. That's why I wouldn't have taken it. And there's a couple of reasons why I wouldn't have taken it. Reason for that was that our bias here is bullish. So obviously I don't want to go against the fundamentals here. It's like standing in front of a speeding train, right? If it's going in one direction, I don't want to be in its way. I want to be moving with it. I want to catch it as it continues to move. Also looking at retail sentiment over here, it's currently 69% short. So I don't want to trade where all the retail traders are shorting or trading. Since all of them are shorting right now, obviously I don't want to be here at this point. Also, there's a couple different factors that kind of pushed me against wanting to take this trade because it's at the London low right here. You can see the last time price came down and tested the London low over here. It bounced right off it, right? So you guys just have to be aware of all the other factors that could be affecting the market. Obviously, this was a valid entry here. The reason for that is because, here, let's go over this strategy real quick. So for the high-low scalp strategy, this is the one that I'm going to be releasing to you guys next week. Basically for the strategy right here, you want to confirm the previous swing high and swing low. This is a swing high and this is a swing low. You want to make sure 4 or 5 candles have passed to establish that lower high. So for example, right here, this low was established 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 4th candle right here was pretty much established it. This 5th one right here broke through it, and that would establish it as a low. Second, you want to confirm price break and close past it, which you did at this point. Next, you want to confirm you're trading in the direction of momentum. Right here, we have a sell signal, so you're only taking sells. Next, you want to confirm price is not ranging or consolidating. Price was ranging here, but when price broke below the structure, it broke out of it. It's no longer ranging. Last, you want to confirm that price hasn't touched the swing before the break and close. So all these candles right here didn't touch the swing, right? This candle right here that broke, it touched it and broke outside of it. So with that said, you would have entered right there and you would have taken this trade for a straight TP for about 100 pips right there. So that's pretty much what we were looking for at that point. But obviously I wouldn't have taken it because everything is pointing towards the upside. So I don't want to trade against momentum and I don't want to trade against the bias. So other than that, let's see if there's anything else here that I missed out on. So it's 7:15 right now. So I don't know if I'm going to have any more trades to take. Obviously, I would want to take some trades, but it doesn't look like the market is really moving very much right now. What I'll do now is I'll go down the Zoom and I'll start answering some questions because I don't want the Zoom to be overfilled with questions before we get off here. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything over here. So Angela over here as well, locked in a total of 1,182. So nice work, Angela. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else here that I'm missing. So there's a pending buy right now off of the 1 minute. However, in order for us to have an entry off the pivot scalp, price, we need to close up here with that buy signal. So if we get a buy signal that's below the pivots, it's not going to validate as an actual entry. Also, if we need an entry off the high-low scalp, we need price to break and close above here. So no entry available right now. Let's go down the time frames real quick to confirm. So yeah, if you took the 3 minute scalp over here, the one that that Deswell pretty much came up with, it would currently be running in profit. However, it's not one that I would recommend taking, one that I'm not in as well. Here off the 10-minute snipe, there's no entry available. Let me see if there's any zones above here. Yeah, so no zones. In order for us to have an entry here, price needs to reject off the pivot. It also needs to reject off the structure, which there's no structure in this area. So no entry off this 10-minute. Going over to the daily, nothing off here as well. So with that said, I'm going to wait for this first to close. And I'm going to see if it closes above the pivot. If it closes above the pivot to buy signal, then we can take it for a buy. Otherwise, I'll go through the Zoom and answer questions here. So we got about 20 seconds left on this candle. I'll just wait for it to close, and then once we have that, we can we can go through the questions. All right, doesn't look like it's gonna close. What I'm gonna be paying attention to are the alerts. So if I get an alert, I'll take a look at it. But right now, I'll answer these questions here. So Jane over here's question is, hi, Shawn, could you recap on the snipe strategy, please? If the body touches other pivots aside from the pivot that wick touched, does it invalidate the trade? So it doesn't, Jane. Let me go back real quick and we'll look over at that. So let me see if I can find an example here for you. Okay, so this is a perfect example right here. Not that one, this one right here. Okay, so looking at the requirements here, you want to confirm a wick rejection off any K2 pivot, right? So this candle right here is rejecting off this orange pivot. Next, you want to confirm that price is rejecting off the K2SR zone. There's a zone right here, so it's rejecting off this pivot and this zone. Third, you want to confirm the wick rejection does not touch the candle body. So this is the question that you have here. You're asking if any of these other pivots touch the body, will it invalidate it? And the answer to that is no, because you're only focusing on the pivot that it's rejecting off. So this rejection right here is off this orange pivot. This is the only one that's really important. These are okay. It's fine because these are weak pivots anyways, but what you're focused on is this one right here that it's rejecting off. You want to make sure that this one isn't touching the candle body. So with that said, you just want to confirm the direction of momentum. So we have a sell signal there. You're looking for a sell, and then you would enter for a short position right there. After you got that all set up, you would let the trade run. And see if it hits. It looks like it might have hit. So the problem with this right here, let's see when this trade was taken. This was during Asia session. So I technically wouldn't have taken this because it's just going sideways. You know, one of the things that we look at is we want to make sure that price is actually ranging. So if we got an entry over here when price is actually moving directional, then we would have taken it. But even at this point right here, this is just, you know, an example for your trade, but I probably wouldn't have taken it because you could already see when the market opened here during Asia session, if I was to draw lines right here. So if we drew a line from this point, like basically looking to see if it was ranging or not. So if we drew a line right over here, and this is where the high-low indicator will come in handy when you have it, because if you drew lines through these areas right here before price got to that point, you can see that price was just ranging and it wasn't really moving enough for you to really take the move anyways, because each candle is only moving about like 200 pips and you're going for a 500 pip move. So this right here wouldn't have been an area where I would have taken these trades, but that's an example that answers your question there. You know, you guys have to remember that all of these strategies here are based off momentum. So if there's no momentum in the market, there's no room for entry, especially on a 10-minute because it's such a bigger move. Looking at the prior time over here, you can see that price is not consolidating here. It's obviously moving directional. Right here, it's just moving sideways. So that's something to keep in mind. But once you guys get the high-low indicator, it's going to help a lot with determining whether price is ranging or not. Because you can see right here from the 1 minute, whenever I draw these lines here, you can see when price is ranging, right? Like if I just draw the line right here, you can see that this is the range within this area. However, when price is going directional like this, you can see price is obviously not ranging. So something to keep in mind, but hopefully that answers your question, Jane, with regard to the rejection. It doesn't matter if it touches the pivot, only if it's touching the pivot that's rejecting off, which should be that one right there. So yeah, if you do want to trade the snipe during Asia, I would just recommend using a smaller TP stop loss because 500 pips is just too big of a move during Asia session. Like I was mentioning here, if you were to hold this trade, you literally would be holding this until London session. And these trades aren't supposed to be held for that long, right? Like, let's see. Yeah, you literally would be holding this trade for, I'm just going to time a date range. So entry would have been right here. You'd be holding this trade for almost 10 hours. And this is supposed to be a scalp strategy, right? So yeah, so price didn't move up until here. So you literally be holding this trade for over 10 hours. And that would defeat the purpose of it being a scalp. So yeah, just make sure that you're trading. Oh, I wouldn't even trade this during Asia session, but if you were to trade it during Asia session, just make sure that you use a smaller TP. Because if you had a smaller TP, you would have been pulled out before it would have swung this way, because this is already London session. And one thing that you guys want to keep in mind, if you guys missed the live session yesterday again, I gave times where I don't trade. I specifically don't trade from like 10 until like 2 if you're trading London session. So that would be this whole area right here. From this area, here, I'll just mark it up. So from this area right here, 2200 hours, this is where I don't enter any trades, because usually you'll see a reversal, right? HS session here, price is going sideways. It'll start to go down. And then once London opens, it just goes opposite. So I think if you guys didn't see the mentoring session yesterday, you should definitely watch it, because I covered a lot of stuff there that will help you guys with understanding when I trade and when I don't trade. Because I've been trading for so long that I see these same patterns happen every day. And I know exactly where to trade and where not to trade. And that's why I have such a high win rate, because I'm very careful with like what I decide to do when I enter the market. All right, so that's it for there. Let me just scroll up real quick and see what else I'm missing, if I missed anything else. Or let's see if there's any other trades here. No trades available yet on the 1 minute. Even if this buy signal closes, it needs to close above the pivot. So no entry there. Let me just scroll down a little more. Jennifer said, Shawn, not sure if I missed something. I didn't get it, or I didn't get to it yet. The high-low strategy isn't out yet, Jennifer. It's coming out this week, the indicator, and then the actual strategy is going to be covered next week. So you can see right here that it says unfinished in progress, because it's not done yet. But I mean, it's basically done at this point. The indicator is these green and red boxes right here, and this will probably be released sometime this week. So once it is released, I will let you guys know. So other than that, let me scroll down a little bit. All right, Madju said, since the signal and the 10-minute close on open, does that mean the daily would be a sell now? Yeah, that's correct, Madju. So the daily would technically be a sell. However, I wouldn't take it. Well, I mean, not yet. At this point in time, I wouldn't take it, because the bias is still bullish. If this starts to shift to the red side, then the bias will change, and then you can start taking the sell. But for me personally, I wouldn't take it, because the bias right now is still bullish for me. But yeah, you're correct. If it does come up, it would be a sell. Nice. Paul said another win off NAS, same setup as yesterday, definitely. Other than that, let's see. Abraham said, I tried once, spreads caught me, went the wrong way. Yeah, it's kind of tough when your spreads are too wide. Randall said, what was the TP for the last trade, because I lost? So the TP off that was, here, let's go over here. I mean, price went way past the TP, so it should have been good. But here, let me just go over here real quick. I'm just gonna pull up the trade that we took off that. So this was at 645. Okay, 645. So 645 right here. I believe it was this one right here. So we entered right here. Yeah, price went way past it. So I mean, it would have been like impossible for not to trigger, because I mean, it went like double the move. So the TP off this right here on that, Randall, was 35,694. You got to keep in mind that these numbers aren't the numbers for FTMO. So if you're trading on FTMO or any other broker, these numbers aren't going to line up with yours, because the numbers are different. You'd have to put 10 pips from there. But even if you were like even off by a little bit, price actually went even further than that. So it actually pushed well over 200 pips, so 240 pips. So you still have some leeway of about 140 pips. The TP was down here, and it triggered at that point, but it kept pushing up even higher. So you still had a lot of leeway right there for it to push an extra 140 pips. So that should cover any spread, and should cover, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could have covered, because it went way past it. So this was the entry that we took earlier. Yeah, I'm not sure. Did anyone else have that issue? Because it looks like a lot of people here were fine with it. I mean, looking at everyone's profits, I'm just going off like what I saw here. Because so when did we take that trade? Yeah, looking at everyone's profits here, it looks like other people were fine with that there. So it looks like, yeah, Patricia took it here. Sisu took it there as well. Romanio took it there too. It might be a broker side issue. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which broker you're using, but it went way past it. So I don't think there should have been an issue with that trade. So let me just go over here and see if I missed anything else. Ah, fuck, I missed the trade. My bad, guys. So I totally missed the trade right here. I was going over the questions. There was a 1 minute scalp right there. I already hit TP, so it's too late. Damn it. It's okay. This is usually why I like to wait to answer questions, but it's okay. It's fine. Kind of sucks because we were waiting for that buy to come up for like a while now, and I totally missed it. I know I had the alert, but I was like too busy answering questions, but it's okay. I need to get out of here by 8 anyway, so that's why I'm trying to get through the questions as soon as possible. But whoever caught it, congrats to you. I'm sure a lot of you guys are waiting for that trade because that's exactly what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the buy signal to close above the pivots, and once it did right here, it's a really nice push to the upside. So definitely great work to, whoever caught the move there. I missed it obviously, but cheers to whoever caught it. Let's see, there's another entry here that's also available actually off the high low. I'm actually in this trade right now. So I entered it right away as soon as I saw it. There we go. It already hit my TP. So I entered a little lower, like down this area. So it actually hit my TP already. So I'm not sure if anyone caught. You guys got to be really quick with these moves here. I'll send my profits in the group right now. But it did hit my TP already. So I'm already out of the position. If anyone is still in it, let me take a screenshot of my profits. Yeah, Eunice said it moved too quick. So I think Eunice missed it too. Some of you guys caught it. Some of you guys missed it. I actually caught it, thankfully, because I made up for that other trade that I just missed right now. So sometimes the market moves as quick where you can't catch it right away. And that's okay. If you guys don't catch it, I never recommend that you guys enter anything late, right? If you guys missed it, you guys missed it. That's fine. Just wait for the next one. Like for me, I didn't enter this trade here, even though I was late. I just waited for it to close above here, and then I just entered once it was on this point. I entered kind of low because I saw when it pulled back right here, and I entered at this low point. That's why I hit my TP already. So if you guys didn't catch the trade, don't enter it right now. There's no point in entering it because it's just too late. Just wait for the next one. And I'll give you guys my, it looks like a lot of you guys here actually caught that move too. Well, actually, Eunice caught that move. So Eunice missed the 1 minute scalp right here, same as me, but he caught this one right here when it broke above it. So Eunice said it took the 1 minute buy. Sorry for not warning you, moved too quick, but he caught it. Yeah, that's okay, Eunice. I missed it. It was just moving too fast. So Eunice locked in a total of 627 for the day. Maddie here caught it as well. Yeah, Maddie said caught it, but it was moving a bit too fast. So he caught it as well. He's currently at 4,337. It's key that you guys are paying attention to the charts, even though I'm answering questions and not really paying attention myself. It's key that you guys pay attention, you guys understand the strategy so that if you guys see it, you guys can take it, even if I'm not taking it, if you guys are comfortable with taking that trade. Other than that, let's see. Andy over here too, currently up 840. Cheryl over here currently up about 4,000 off both of her accounts. Nice work, Cheryl. Owen over here currently up 3,084. Nice work, Owen. And then Jonathan over here as well, currently up 2,733. All wins, no losses. Nice work, guys. This is what I like to see, right? The main reason I keep coming back and teach you guys because I want to see you guys have this type of consistency, right? You guys want to have this all wins, no losses. Because the thing is, if you can control your losses, your account just keeps growing over and over again all throughout the week, the month, the year, it just adds up. So let me just show you guys my profits off that that trade I took. Andy here took it as well. So Andy took it, locked in a total of 640 right here. So nice work, Andy. He's in profit a total of 1,480 this morning. Great work, guys. All across the board, everyone's doing great. So let me just post my profits over here so that you guys can see that trade that I took. So, and Ziljon over here as well, locked in a total of 1,634. Nice work, bro. And you guys are on fire today. Everyone's killing it. These are my trades right here. That's one that I just took off this buy. It looks like it's going to push up again. So I'll just have an alert there. Or it already hit TP, so it doesn't really matter. but I will, I'll just take a screenshot so that you guys can see which trade was that. Because I think I forget who asked about it. Randy asked about it yesterday about posting the trades. I'll do it as much as I can, Randy. You know, I definitely want to help you with that so that you guys can understand which trades are being taken. But you know, hopefully you understand like the reason why it's so difficult to post it right away, especially during the live sessions. So quick profit off that K2 high low. All right, solid. Solid, guys. Solid all around. And I'll show you guys my profits for the week as well, because a lot of you guys have been wanting to see that. And I'll show you guys the totals as well, because I know a lot of you guys, it brings a lot of good morale to you guys, seeing how much, you know, I personally logged in over the week, especially during the live session. All these trades are pretty much taken live, aside from the ones that I take during Asia session. So this is the new high, and this is the new low right there. All right, so those are my profits for the day. I'm currently up 2,747. These are all the trades I took during the live. This trade and this trade right here. And then off my other account, I locked in 2,847. All wins, no losses on my end as well. So this is key, guys. This is what I'm trying to teach you guys. I'm trying to teach you guys to be consistent with your trades. There's no need to go for those huge profits, right? A lot of people, and there you go. There goes the actual push past the TP thing right there for whoever was still in the position or whoever entered late. I know I always tell you guys not to enter late, but I know there's a good handful of you guys who still enter late. So if you guys were one of those people, there you go, price pushed up. And the reason why I was confident about this buy here is because all of my checklist checked out, right? My fundamentals here are bullish, retail sentiment short. The trend here is bullish, right? Price is above the pivots, trend meter is green. Everything lines up perfect. So if you guys didn't watch the mentoring session yesterday, you know, I can't emphasize enough how important that checklist is, because that checklist pretty much tells you exactly where price is going to go. And that's why I'm confident about all the moves I make, right? I have about, like, let's see, I have these are my confluences that I have here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, pivots 5, trend meter 6, momentum signal 7, entry right here 8. That's like 8 confluences. So I have 8 confluences and 8 confirmations pointing towards the upside for a buy here. So when I see something like that, I enter the buy without even thinking about it, because I'm confident about the move. And that's why I just enter it. I take my profit and I'm happy, right? Everybody's happy. So that's key here, guys. You know, everyone trades a little differently. Some people like to trade counter trend trading. I don't recommend you guys do that. I've counter trend traded before. It doesn't work well. The variation to the strategy is a counter trend trading strategy in some instances. That's why it's very risky. But yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys are picking stuff up here and you guys are locking in profits. But yeah, let me go through the rest of the questions here at 7:36. I definitely have to get out of here by 8. So let me just try to see what else I'm missing over here. D said, my buy stop never triggered. Looks like my MT4 is behind price and trading view. Yeah, so the thing with that, guys, is if you're one thing that you guys have to figure out is the price difference between your broker and trading view, right? It's usually not off by that much, but it's going to be off one way or the other. So let me just pull up my MT4 real quick. Okay, my MT4 right now, I'll check what the difference is between trading view and FTMO. So trading view right here is going to be, and this is something that you guys, these are like bare basics. Like if you guys are trading ever, you guys should have already figured this out by now, because you can tell that the price is going to be totally different. And we cover this, like, I mean, this has been covered a lot of times in the past, where I always mention that you guys have to factor in the spread into your price. Depending if your price is different, you guys have to make little changes with regard to where price currently is. So this is trading view price, and then this is going to be FTMO price. Sorry, let me just redo that again. 35687 minus 35672. It's only off by like 15. Well, this isn't even 15, but it's like 1.5. So it's not off by that much. It's off by 50 pips, which is like 1 point whatever point. It's not that much, right? So if you enter this thing, so price is currently right here, right? I just want to show you guys how little of a difference it is, because that should not be the difference between you guys. It's like less than 1 point. This is how much the difference is between TradingView and FTMO. So there should be no problem with you guys. Even if you put in the wrong number, it should still trigger it. Because, so check this out right here. Say you entered at this point right here, right? Your buy stop was right here. If your buy stop was right there, you would have entered right over here. So regardless of the fact, if you wouldn't have entered at that point, when price passed this point right here, it would have triggered your order, because this is how much of a price difference there is. It's actually less than this. It's 1.5. So this is 2 points. It's only 1.5 points. So 15 pips. This is how much the difference would be. So I'm not sure which broker you guys are using, but if you're using FTMO, this is how much of a difference is, and it shouldn't make a difference even if you entered at the TradingView price. But in best case scenario, you guys should be factoring that into your price. And it's really simple, right? Say, for example, you need to enter here at this entry point, 35,684. It's a simple fix, right? If price is above, then you're just going to subtract this by 1.5. So what's 84 minus 15, right? That's going to be, my math sucks. So it's like 69, right? I might be wrong, but you would just do basic math. Like say, for example, here, your entry is going to be 35,615. If that's your entry price here, all you do is subtract it by 15 points or 15 pips. And that's about it. It doesn't make a huge difference. Actually, it's not even by the points, it's by pips. So it's not even going to be that much of a difference. So I'm not sure if this is making sense to you guys, but that's the difference between price. It's not going to be a huge difference. There's not going to be like 100 pip difference between TradingView and FTMO, unless you're using a different broker that like I haven't heard of, or something that's like not a good broker. Then yeah, your price difference might be huge. But for FTMO, it's only off by like this much. So, and the way to do that is you guys just need to subtract the difference between your price from TradingView and your price from FTMO. The only problem with FTMO is that there's more numbers on FTMO or whatever broker you're using. This is futures data. So this would technically, you'd have to add 2 extra numbers after it. Because right now it's 35,705 on FTMO. Right now it's 35,687, and there's 2 more numbers right after it. So you just got to drop that from there. Jennifer's question here is, I apologize if I haven't gone to it yet in Teachable, but in your question here is, but do you have money management suggestions for lot size depending on account balance? You should always be risking 1 to 3% or less per trade. It's just, rule of thumb. I'm sure you're familiar with it, Jennifer, right? You said you're like a seasoned Forex trader, so you should know that it's always going to be around like 1 to 3,000 or no, 1 to 3% risk per trade or less. Because if you're trading on FTMO, you have such a big account that you can be risking less, like once you're funded. But yeah, it's the same rule of thumb. You should not be risking more than 3%. If you're trading risky, you can risk up to 5%, but it's not recommended. You should probably just be using between 1 and 3. Rick said, I don't like the way Shawn trades every day, but I'm going to keep showing up every morning. Let him know. Rick, too funny. Jennifer said, can't wait for a deposit. Oh yeah, no, definitely, Jennifer. Duggan said, my only issue is I can't seem to crack it on the Australian date and DAX indices with daylight savings, meaning I'll be starting at 10:30 p.m. Yeah, daylight savings is coming this weekend, I think, guys. So we're going to be falling back 1 hour. I think that gives us extra time, right? We have an extra hour of sleep, extra hour of trading. All right, let me scroll down a little bit and see what else. Randall said, do you mind explaining slippage? I think I got caught in that. So slippage happens when you have, okay, so that might have been the case, Randall, with yours. It might not have been the pricing difference. It might have just been slippage. So slippage happens, and it happens very rarely. It just depends. If you have like a bad broker, then it'll happen often. But if you have a good broker, it shouldn't happen too often. And a lot of brokers will refund you if that happens. So Slippage happens when price passes your TP and it doesn't close you out. So say, for example, right here, price breaks right past your TP and then it just comes right back down and it doesn't trigger your TP. Unless your spread is like crazy wide, there's like a huge gap between here. So unless your spread is like a 200 pip spread, it shouldn't have happened to like, it shouldn't have, slippage shouldn't have kicked you out of the trade or kept you in the trade, because it had a lot of opportunities here. It actually had let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It had like 5 or 6 minutes to pull you out of the trade. So I do suffer slippage sometimes too. Like looking at my profits over here, you can see that my copier here, I locked in, or this is my main account. I locked in 1,090, and then my copier locked in actually more profit because there was slippage there. So you can see I locked in an extra $100 off my copier, right? Because what happened was it closed me out right here, but then price spiked up, so it closed me out a little later and actually made more profit. That's when slippage happens. If it crosses past your TP and then doesn't trigger it until later, or in some instances, if your broker sucks, then it's not going to close it at all and you're going to be stuck in the trade. So that might have been what happened with you, Randall. I don't think it was the whole price difference, because it was only off by like 15 pips. So it should have filled it and it should have been fine. I think the difference was probably slippage. So you might be on something with regard to slippage. I'm not sure which broker you're using, but maybe reach out to your broker and ask them, hey, I felt like slippage happened. If they're an unregulated broker, they're probably going to not care and they're not even going to respond to you. But if you're using like, a reputable broker, then they'll either refund you for that trade or they'll just credit your account. So that might have been your issue, Randall. Let me scroll down a little bit and see what else I'm missing. Charlie said, all right, done. All right, bro, done for the day. See you tomorrow. Was trying to catch the whipsaw, but my Mac lagged on me and closed out the L. It's all good, Charlie. You'll make it back tomorrow. Other question over here from Sam. Sam said, I got filled late because of slippage and my TP was further away because of that, but I held until it came back in a profit and pulled out with a small profit estimation. Yeah, I know that happens sometimes. So like, I think the main problem here was it might have been slippage for a lot of you guys because it was just moving really quickly. And it happens sometimes, right? That's the risk that comes with trading during volatile markets. So, I mean, unfortunately that happens, Sam, but at least you close out profit. It works a lot better that you close out profit than for a loss. Another question is from Talanji. Talanji said, I'm going to do my own research on buy stops and buy limits, but I wanted to ask if it was possible to set orders to execute off the momentum indicator, or is it just based off price? Hope that makes sense. For it would be off price. So if you want to set a buy limit, you're basically placing on price. Like say, for example, if you want to enter, like how I did over here, right? If you want to enter where price ends up crossing this point right here. So like say, for example, I'm just going to put a blue line right here. If you want to enter when price comes back above here, that'd be a buy stop, right? If you want to enter a buy, you can't enter it off the indicators because that would have, like, the indicators aren't going to necessarily like, you'd have to have some sort of algorithm to enter that trade. I'm just trying to like, I'm trying to explain it where it makes sense to you. Buy stops and buy limits are pending orders. If you want to enter off like the indicator or something, you'd have to have some sort of algorithm to wait for the candle to actually close. Like say if you wanted this to close when it's strong, then you'd have to set up some type of algorithm to execute the trade for you. Buy stops and buy limits are just pending orders. So like say if you want to enter down here, right? You'd set a sell limit because price is currently above. So when price comes down, it'll trigger the sell limit. It's just a pending order, just waiting for price to touch it. And when price touches it, it'll fill it. It acts similar to a TP and a stop loss, right? So say, for example, you're in a trade and your stop loss is down here and you're in a buy, right? So if you're in a buy and price comes down here and it triggers your stop loss, what happens? Your trade automatically closes out, right? It doesn't necessarily close out, but it takes the trade in the opposite direction to close it out. So that's how buy stops and sell limits work. Or it's the same thing. It's the same difference. It's just the type of order that you end up putting in. Buy stop, sell limit, buy limit. It just depends on which location you plan on entering it from. But that's pretty much how it works. And you can just, there's a video in the course and there's also videos on YouTube explaining how it works. It's pretty simple. It's just once you start applying it, it'll make more sense. It's more so something that you understand when it's applied versus when it's being taught. Donnie said, say that again about houses, Shawn. I'm trying to buy one too. So for houses, I mean, the housing market right now, the news for this over here was that pending home sales are going down. So this means that a lot of people aren't buying houses. And when people aren't buying houses, inventory goes up, right? As inventory goes up, people are trying to get rid of their houses. So they're, people are getting desperate and they start to lower prices on their houses. It's not going to be a huge dump in price, but if inventory continues to grow, then housing prices are going to become more affordable. Not really more affordable, but they're going to go back to where they normally are. Because, obviously right now they're propped up because inventory was low, but now that inventory is starting to pick up, it's, more houses will be available. However, you also have to take seasons into consideration, right? During the winter season, there's usually a lot of houses that are taken off market, so inventory might just be about even. But if the houses are left on there, you're probably going to see, prices start to fluctuate a little bit in our favor. Also, I don't know if you saw the news about Zillow. Zillow usually buys houses and then they just keep it in their inventory. They announced that they're not going to be buying any more houses for this year. So with that said, there's going to be a lot of inventory left on the market. So yeah, good luck to your house search. Hopefully you find something that you're looking for. I've been looking for a while now, but I'm just waiting for prices to kind of stabilize a bit. Scrolling down a little bit, let's see if I missed anything. Zachary's asking, hi Shawn, can you go over the daily drawdown calculation for FTMO? Daily drawdown is going to be 5%. So say for example, if you have a 100K count, so FTMO, or let me just go on the website. That's probably gonna be easier because I don't really need to type this up here. And it's getting close to 8, guys. So I'm gonna try to knock down all these questions real quick before I get off the session. And I'm also gonna be looking for some possible trades here, but I don't really see anything available right now. All right, so here's FTMO, guys. Scrolling down, the daily drawdown limit, depending on your account size. Zachary, if you have like a 100K account, your daily drawdown is going to be 5,000, right? So you can only lose 5,000 per day. The day resets my time, I think around like 1 o'clock Pacific. I'm not sure where you're located, but it's going to be midnight CEST time. So depending on where you're located, it's about like 1 o'clock my time. That's when it'll reset. That's why I usually don't have trades that I carry over to the next day, because I don't want to get caught with daily drawdown carrying over. So basically, say for example, you're negative 3,000 and you close out the trade. This daily drawdown is floating, so you can never go below 5,000. Even if it's floating, it's not closed out, you can't go under 5,000. So, and that shouldn't be a problem. If you're using proper risk, this should never become an issue because you'll be using proper lot sizing to make sure you don't even get close to this point. So the way that I calculate lot sizes, so going back to Jennifer's question earlier, in order to calculate the your lot sizes, I usually divide the daily drawdown by 3. So for example, here, if you have a 100K account, your daily drawdown is going to be 5,000. I divide that by 3. This is how much I'm willing to lose per trade. This is like about a 3% risk of your daily drawdown, not 3% risk of your entire account, but of your daily drawdown. So if you're risking this is about 1.6% risk, right? Because 1,600 is going to be 1.6 of 100K. So this is how much I'll be risking per trade so that I make sure I'm not within the daily drawdown. So say if I lose 2 trades back to back, right? Times 2. I'm currently in negative 3,033. If I lose another trade for like 1,600, I'm like really close to my max daily drawdown. So at that point, I mean, once I lose 1 trade, I'm usually done for the day because I don't usually lose trades. If I lose trades, it usually indicates that it's a bad trading day and I should probably just take a break. So if I lose 1 trade, I'm done for the day, but this is how much you can lose. That's why I have leeway there so that I never hit my max daily loss. I always keep within that parameter. So hopefully that helps with your question, Zachary, but this is basically what your max daily drawdown is going to be. Depending on your account, you can just click on balances. If you're on a 110K account, it'll be 500, 25K account, 1,250, 50K account, 2,500. I mean, so on. That's how much your daily drawdown would be. And if you have questions in specific with FTMO, just hit this chat window right here. Type in your name, like Zach or me, Shawn. And when you click this right here, this will come up, or I mean, it's not coming up right now. I've had issues with this like recently, like yesterday, but if you click on that, it'll a chat window will come up and then you can ask some questions. So Yeah, hopefully that helps with your question and answers it. All right, let me get through the rest of the questions and I'm gonna be done for this session here. Scrolling down, let me see. Essa said question, if a buy signal shows up, you will enter it or will you wait for it to break the last high? Sorry, Essa, I'm not sure what you're referring to with that question there. But I think it depends on the strategy. So I'm not sure if like, so depending on which strategy you're applying, I don't think I have the strategies up here anymore. So let me just open this up. So if you're applying the pivot scalp strategy, you're not waiting for price to break structure at all. This is going to be for that specific strategy. If you're waiting for the high-low strategy, then yeah, you're looking for the structure. You're not looking for a signal at all. You're just waiting for the structure to break. So these are two different strategies. This one we haven't gone over this yet. So you're probably not going to be applying this, but for the pivot scalp, there's no need for it to break structure. We're just waiting for these requirements to be met here. All right, other than that, all right, Randall, so I answered the question about slippage, so I think you're good with that right there. Dean said if MT4 could set sell stops and limits with death market. Oh, no, I agree. Yeah, Dean, I do agree with that too. I mean, you can do that. You just set a normal order up. You don't need a death market. You can just right click and set a pending order. And then you can set your TP stop loss from there as well. Not sure if you tried that, but you can try it. It's actually, I mean, it's a little more difficult because you have to type in the actual numbers, but it's not super difficult if you can do it quick enough. Main said, what's the second fastest session after New York session? Asia is too slow for me. So New York is actually the second fastest session. The fastest session is going to be London, depending on what you're trading. Jane got it. Thanks. Duggan said, I've done 15 hours straight on the screen sometimes. And when I have a trade on, I get anxiety about hitting my stop loss. That's why I'm trying to adopt more of KT strategies in my trade. No, exactly, Duggan. If you're on the screen for so long and you're like, say you made a good amount of profit, it's going to stress you out when you get close to, you know, a risky trade, and then you might be hitting stop loss. I know that feeling. I've been there before. Let's see. All right. So Randall, I think I answered your question with the slippage. If you still need help with that, you know, let me know. I think I did answer already, but if you do need help more with that, you know, drop the question. I know you dropped it like twice already, but if you still need help with it, just go ahead and drop it again. It's fine. I just want to make sure that you're getting it. And I just saw the messages here from Rab. So Rab said 1 minute buy, Matt said 1 minute buy, Main said 1 minute buy. So a lot of you guys did catch that 1 minute trade that I missed earlier. I'm just seeing the chat right now, but yeah, I do see it right here. Let's scroll over here a little bit. Donnie's in the 3 minute. Let me check real quick. Yeah, so this is why I wouldn't have taken a sell here, right? So if you guys remember earlier, I said I was going to mark this up, but I wasn't going to take it because we're looking for buys only. Here's a 3 minute buy here. It looks like Donnie might have taken it or was looking to take it. I still think it's a little risky right now. I mean, obviously it's probably going to hit, but I still do find it to be, you know, a little risky. See if it's pulled down a little bit. Yeah, so as you can see right here, I didn't take this trade right here because the market is just kind of just going sideways at this point. Let me go back to the clean chart. As you guys can see right here, price is slightly trying to move to the upside, but it still hasn't really chosen a direction, right? It's kind of just going back and forth. I mean, it is bullish, obviously, but you can see at this point, you know, sideways movement to the top, drop back down, and then a push all the way back here. So you can see that there's no clear direction. I mean, obviously we're looking for a bullish move, but there's just no clear direction as to where price is moving. So let me just get through the rest of the questions here. Let's see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Yeah, a lot of you guys here marked up to 3 minutes. So it looks like some of you guys are in this trade right here. However, I mean, if you guys are in the position, that's fine. I would recommend that when it does move into profit, to move your stop loss in profit. It's an okay trade. So for me, I think it's an okay trade. The reason why I think it's okay is only because of the fact that price hasn't really chosen its direction yet, right? The bias here is still very strong. It's 200 pips or 200 points in the green. Futures data is very strong as well. The only problem that you guys need to be looking out for is the fact that we're getting close to the mid-market reversal. So if you guys have been with K2 for a while, you guys understand that when market gets middle of New York, it tends to reverse. So that's one thing that you guys want to be careful about. And that's the reason why I stopped trading at 8 every day. So I only trade from 6:30 to 8 because around this period from like 8 to 10, this is where the reversal starts to happen. It doesn't always happen, but it does happen very often. So usually, this is usually how price will move. It'll have a direction to the upside, and then it'll consolidate for a bit, and then it just ends up reversing midway through the market. But this is when the market is moving smoothly. Today, the market isn't moving smoothly, so this might not even happen. But generally, this is like the typical movement that happens. Let me see if I can find it over here, how it played out as well. I mean, the market hasn't really been moving smooth at all this whole time, but let me see if I can find it here. Okay, so this is kind of an example right here. It's not a smooth example, but this is exactly the kind of setup that I kind of see playing out today as well. So from 6:30 to 8, from 8:30 or from 8 till 10, or 8 till 9. It's somewhere between there. It's like 8 to 9 or 8 to 10. I think 10 is too far off, so it might be 8 to 9. Depends on from works out here. The market isn't moving smoothly, but generally it was going up. Then it went sideways for a bit before dropping. And then around 10, reversal back to the upside. And the only reason I know this is because I trade US 30 every day. I see the same exact patterns play out every single day. It's like nothing changes. I'm just trying to see where the market was actually kind of smooth so that I can show you when it actually happens. Because when you see it clearly, you guys will see that it happens almost every time when the market is moving smoothly. And if you guys have been with K2 for a while, you guys already know what I'm talking about because we've been trading like that for the longest time. So around this time period over here, I'm trying to find a good day. There hasn't been a good day in the past 2 weeks. There's been like one good day. I think it was like Monday of last week. Obviously not here. You can see the choppiness in price. It wasn't on this day. And the smoother days are coming. So just keep in mind, guys, I know a lot of you guys are just like over this market, but October is usually like this. So just keep that in mind. If you guys have been trading long enough, you guys traded all throughout each season, you guys know that the market it moves in season. So it'll generally go back to smoother conditions as we get closer to November. So I'll just mark these up right here like this. All right, so as you guys can see, there's different phases here, right? So from market open right here at 6, from 6:30 to 8, this is usually where I trade. It's all bullish, right? So I take buys, make my profit, I close out for the day. From 8 to 9, consolidates, 9 to 10, consolidates, and then once 10 hits right here, reversal back to the downside, right? This is normal market movement. This is usually how it moves. And this is why I only trade until 8, because I trade from here where it's bullish. It goes consolidation, consolidation, reversal once it hits around 10. So you guys want to be careful because we're at this point right now. It might be going to consolidation. So just looking at this right here, I'll mark it up again for you guys just so you guys can have a visualization of like what I'm talking about here. So 6 to 8, this is usually where I trade. I make my profit right here. 8 to 9, some consolidation. 9 to 10, probably some movement in the consolidation. And then possibly from 10 to market close, you're going to see a mid-market reversal. So, just a couple of things for you guys to keep in mind. I'm going to try to help you guys as much as possible with as much knowledge as I have from trading. I've been trading for such a long time now that a lot of these things are like second nature to me. Like I don't have to think, oh, it's like 8, I shouldn't trade. I'm like, oh, it's 8, I should go step outside or something, right? I don't have to look at the clock because I know exactly when the market starts to move a little funky. So other than that, let me scroll down a little bit and see if I missed anything else. All right, I'm skipping through all of these responses here. No, you're fine, Randall. So hopefully I helped you with your question there, Randall. I was trying to help you as much as possible, with regard to slippage and the buy stops, but I know it might be a little confusing. So Jennifer said, I legit was thinking you guys had like 80% win rate. Usually risk 2% per trade, but with a high win rate, I'm itching to risk more. But you're right, six, what works? Yeah. So for me personally, I risk about like 3% per trade. I don't risk 5% because FTMO up to max I can miss per trade, risk per trade. So I would only go like 1 to 3%. But I have a bigger account, so 1 to 3% of the 200K account is pretty big, right? So like for example, here I'm locking in like a couple thousand per trade. I thought so. My profit for today was about 2,800, right? So if you divide 2,800, or what is it? 2,848, divided by 200,000. That's like a 1.4% increase, right? So that's my ROI for the day, I guess, 1.4. The key here is about consistency, guys. A lot of people want to go for those huge profits, but you could only do that so many times until you blow your account. So for me, it's consistent wins. I'm making like a 1 to 5% gain a day if possible. And then I just continually, grow that. And I have two accounts here. So even though it's only 1.4%, that's basically 1.4 times 2, right? Because I have two accounts here. So this times 2, I'm currently up 2.8% for the day, which is about 3% almost. Yeah, no problem, Jennifer. Glad I could help you with that. Lisa said night all signing off trading from her phone. Yeah, and I'm glad that you passed with that, Lisa, because I know your laptop broke and then now you're trading off your phone. Andy over here locked in another profit. He's in profit a total of 1,970. Great work with that. Andy, let's see. Sisuk over here locked in a total of 4,200. Great work, Sisuk. Other than that, see Romanio locked in another profit a total of 3,008. Nice work, Romanio. Noel over here, nice huge cash right there. Noel caught the buyer there off NASDAQ. Great work, bro. Patricia over here locked in a total of 1,565. Amazing work right there, Patricia. Donovan over here locked in a total of 641. Nice work, Donovan. Looking over here, Vincent sent his profits locked in a total of what happened? What happened to you, bro? Oh, he took the buy signal, the one that we didn't take. So this one right here. So the reason why I wouldn't have taken this buy signal as well, guys, is because it's so close to the London high right here. Right at this point, right there. I mean, there's a lot of factors, right? So Vincent, I'm not sure if you looked at the live session yesterday or the mentoring session. I mean, go back to the mentoring session and get the checklist, because I have a checklist of everything that I look at. So right here, the confluences just weren't like, I mean, they were high, but they weren't that high. The problem with this as well is that it was overextended. So like one thing that you also want to keep in mind is look where the low established from, right? Low is right here, price pushed up to this point over 1,000 pips. So when it pushes about 1,000 pips, generally it's going to have to pull back a little bit. And that's exactly what happened here. Price pushed up and then it pulled down right there. And then here you go, as it comes right back up. Also, the volatility is just very high. I mean, it's all right. It happens, right, Vincent? It's just you were unlucky with that trade. You entered it, you felt confident about it, and then just reversed on you. Usually around this period, I usually stop trading. So if you guys have seen the live session, I usually stop trading technically around 7:30. So around this period of time, I'll take like this. Well, this was the last trade we took, the buy, and then around 7:30, I just stopped trading because that's when the market starts to move kind of funky. So I mean, it's okay, Vincent. It happens, but you'll bounce back from it. So other than that, let me see. I mean, it looks like you've been taking like all the bad trades. I mean, the other days you've been doing good. So like you were doing good over here. You were having, good luck with your trades. Or I mean, not kind of. This day right here. So this day you took some, it seems that you catch the bad trades, because here I remember on this day, you were like really far in the negative. Like you had one win, and then on the 19th, you had a big loss right there. And then you had a couple other losses, but then you climbed your way back up. So you were at negative 2,835, and then you made your way back to positive 1,480. So with your trades here, I mean, you know how to win your trades. You just have to, I think the focus is going to have to be on identifying which trades not to take, because you know how to make profit. Obviously, you know how to make profit. Just looking at your trades here, you're consistent. The only problem is you keep getting caught with the bad trades. Like over here, you took the signal at 709. I forgot. I explained why I wouldn't have taken that trade, but you took like one of the bad trades that nobody else took, and that's how you took that loss. And then again today, same situation here, which is, it's completely fine. You're gonna make mistakes, and mistakes are fine. It's good that you're making mistakes right now rather than when you're funded, right? Because once you're funded, you definitely don't want to be making any mistakes. But I mean, there's a lot of different factors that come into identifying, what to take and what not to take. But I do recommend that you go back and look at the mentoring session yesterday and just get down my checklist to see what I look at before I take any trades. Also, I think we took this trader on news, right? So there's news that was released at 10:30 or 7:30, I mean. Yeah, so there's natural gas storage at 7:30. But that was like way before. So that actually pushed it up right here. So around 7:30, it pushed price up and then it came right back down. So, I mean, you're just a little unlucky with that trade, unfortunately. But yeah, so other than that, let me see if there's anything else here that I missed. It's past 8. I'm supposed to be off already. So let me just get through all the questions here and see if I missed anything. Yeah, definitely no problem, Talanji. Main, there's no 1 minute daily strategy that we use. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but there's not one that we necessarily use for the 1 minute. The 3 minute, I wasn't taking the daily because it was a sell, but the bias was for a bullish push. So that's why I didn't take the daily. I explained earlier, the reason why I wouldn't take any sells because the fundamentals here are very strong, 220 points in the green. Also, retail sentiment is 69% short. So it just wouldn't make sense for me to take any sells right now, even if we had it. All right, let me scroll down a little more. Jennifer said, I know you're logging off soon. I emailed you about activating my indicators early. If you could do that. Yeah, no, definitely. I'll do that right after I get off this session, Jennifer. Other than that, I think that's it. Or I'm scrolling down really quickly, just making sure I didn't miss any trade, any questions. The daily for the 3 minute was a sell because it was right here. So there was no sell. We wouldn't have taken that trade there. There's no daily here for a buy because this happened after this one. You're looking for the first valid momentum signal, which would have been right here, which was a sell, but we didn't take that sell because bias was for a buy. So there was no buy there. This is a pivot scalp strategy, not the daily entry. Because you asked for the daily right here. You said, what about the 1 minute or 3 minute daily? The daily here was a sell, but we didn't take that. All right, guys. So I think that's it. So hopefully all of your guys' questions, your answers got you're fine. I mean, I was confused too because I was like, did I look at it wrong? But it was just we were both just confused on it. So it's all good. But yeah, looking at that there, I wouldn't have taken that sell for that specific reason. I think a lot of you guys are still in this buy right here. So I know Donnie's in it. Donnie's the one that mentioned it earlier. So if you guys are still in this position right here, I would move your stop loss in profit because the market's going to start moving kind of funky. But and it already hit full TP, so yeah, great work to whoever caught it. So let me just close this out right here. But yeah, guys, hopefully I answered all your questions. If not, go ahead and send me an email or a message. I just got to get offline right now. I got some stuff to do. But I will be back live tomorrow for our last trading session as we wrap up the trading week. So if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll be back here for tomorrow's live session. So if you guys do have questions, just save them for tomorrow and I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'll just give you guys a little update for, I think specifically Donnie, because I know Donnie's the one that, well, a lot of you guys actually, I was looking at the Zoom, it was actually a lot of you guys that mentioned that there was a 3 minute entry. So if you guys are still in the position, if you didn't trigger your TP, I do recommend you move your stop loss in profit or just pull out profit because it already hit TP. But yeah, so let me just give this little post everywhere else. And I think we're done for the day. Oops, save this wrong thing. All right, there we go. So if you guys have profits, go ahead and send them over, and then I'll add them to the profit posting for today. They'll probably post it around like 2 or 3 p.m. once the session closes. And then we'll add that from there. So other than that, guys, have a great morning, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow. So if you guys have questions, go and email. Jennifer, I did see your email, so I'll update your stuff right now. But other than that, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. So have a great morning.